Does your arrest still haunt you?
I just went there for my vacation and 13 SBI car come. How many people you know who got arrested in a planned manner? Yes, I do have one regret. I was 45% of Flipkart size. They got acquired at 22 billion. If I put it in monetary terms, a $5 or $8 billion large exit.
This is Sandeep Aggarwal, 2 times unicorn founder. He had to step away from his first unicorn because of an insider trading case. He got cancelled, but he didn't give up. He built Droom and turned it into a unicorn too. This isn't just a success story, it is a story of resilience.
So the biggest thing is, it does not matter whether you are doing marketplace, you have to be minimum 10 times better than its equivalent physical model. In fact, I would say 98% startups will fail. The foundation is being rebellious. Scale, growth, disruption comes along with chaos and risk. Shark Tank for me is how police watch crime patrol. But entrepreneurship is more than that. The risk capital is coming. Still, the risk appetite in this country is not even 1/10 what is there in Silicon Valley.
Bubble?
Can AI deliver? But 2026 can bring a reality check. How Amazon has Alexa, iPhone has Siri, we created Mira.
How does she look like? This is an episode with a very old friend. He is the founder of 2 unicorn companies. It's like you and me speaking.
Same level of candidness, openness, and friendship.
I really do not know, Sandeep, where to start from, to be very honest. We have had so many conversations. I will try to make this conversation interesting. So let me start with trying to understand what is keeping you busy these days.
Just to add what you just said, I think there's an old saying, sometime the best plan is no plan.
No plan.
So Sunny, what is keeping me busy nowadays? Again, in Droom, we are going through a very interesting evolution.
Okay.
Droom is now 11-year-old company. It started with one very narrowly defined focus, that automobile is the second largest ticket item in human life for spend. And why this experience, when you buy the used car, why the experience is this broken? With the use of technology, understanding the structural constraint of India, because India is very different country versus all other countries we compare to. Understanding the structural constraint of India, can we use technology to fix used automobile problems? So it was one this focused, and that is where we allocated a decade, build the most scalable, most innovative, most disruptive automobile technology platform.
Correct.
But since last 1 year, we are going through this evolution. I'm hoping that by the time you release this, we have formally also announced it. But we are going through this interesting evolution of becoming from an app focusing only buying and selling of automobile problem to becoming a super app for automobile.
Okay.
And what does that mean is, from the time you buy a car until it goes to a junkyard for steel extraction and recycling, there are 728 touch points. You will need fuel every week. You may need repair or washing, cleaning every quarter. You need insurance every year. You may need to top up your FASTag. You may sometime get challan. You will sell the car.
Right.
You may get an opportunity to refinance and lower your EMI.
Right.
There are so many touch points. So we built beautiful platform, but we touched our customer live once in 6 years, because that's a cycle at which you will buy the car. Now, when we started Droom, as I mentioned, that was a problem to be solved.
Mm-hmm.
But today, because that time only 2% Indian households had a car.
Correct.
And on an average, human beings spend 1 hour in a car.
Correct.
And only 5% Indians bought a car above 10 lakh rupees. Today, 8% Indian households have a car. You on an average spend, because of thanks to urban commute and traffic congestion, we spend 3 hours in a car, and 34% Indians now buy a car which is above 10 lakh rupees.
It's a huge shift in the market.
So it's a huge shift. How India has changed. When we combined together, we said, why not we give everything to our users? So we have a massive network. In a buying and selling platform alone, 23,500 dealers who give us supply in 1,200 cities. We have sold 600,000, 6 lakh cars, and around 2.5 million people bought loan, insurance, and other services from us. So 3.1 million customers, 17 million app downloads, 11 million registered users. Through our silly and stupid face reels, we have become quite famous.
Right.
So massive reach, massive product, lot of products, 20 technology products, 13 US patents. But the bias was, let me be part of your life when you're buying and selling.
Right.
Now
you want to change that.
I'm part of your life every day. So for me, 2025 was a crazy year. All my life, in any facet of life, in any career opportunity, I have worked more than peer group, but I took that to a next level.
Correct.
And so we have now transitioned to the super app. There are 7 apps in an app. So one app is My Droom, which is AI powered vehicle management. So once you have a car, we take care of everything when you have to renew the insurance, when you have to take for tire rotation, battery replacement, or any other thing.
Correct.
It's all AI powered.
Right.
There's a AI, like how Amazon has Alexa, iPhone has Siri. We created Mira. Mira is your AI assistant. She takes care of everything, right? While it is AI, we had to infuse soul in her. She's 28-year-old. She has a master degree. She's auto buff and auto enthusiast, and she like to assist and help people.
How does she look like?
She is very pretty. I think she looks like Deepika Padukone meet Alia Bhatt. When she was launched, HR sent an email the way they welcome new employees.
Okay.
We created her employee ID.
Okay.
Right? Even we created a reel where some of our marketing people were interviewing her for a possible job offer.
Okay.
So induction was proper like a human being. So one is My Droom. It's a life cycle it's a basically vehicle management system which is AI powered and powered by Mira.
Right.
Then we have buying, then we have selling, then we have loan, then we have insurance, then we have care. So FASTag, challan, roadside assistance, extended warranty, tire washing, dry cleaning, PPF coating. Nowadays, people like to have fancy colors coating on their car, right? All those are part of care. And then we have research, because automobile remains a high involved category. So should you buy hatchback versus sedan, German versus Japanese car, used versus new, lease versus outright purchase? So we have research. So these are the 7 apps we offer. That is where I have spent majority of my time in last 1 year.
The little bit I know about you, you're also a product person. How much of this is product thinking from Sandeep's mind?
When I was starting ShopClues, I was becoming entrepreneur first time. That time when I started, I remember I had one investor. He's a very famous, legendary investor. And my title was founder and CEO. I met him and I said, I have one person whose title I have given as VP of product, but he's spending more time in operations and I'm spending more time in product. All UI, UX, customer, touch and feel, flow, everything comes from me. Is that like, should I be concerned? And that person got up and he said, this is the best thing I have heard. He said, do you know if the founder and CEO has a product thinking, then the company can go very far.
Who is that person?
This person is Sandeep Murthy, who supported me Droom with Lightbox, and while he ran Kleiner Perkins Share Palo when I was building ShopClues.
Right.
But he supported me in ShopClues in his individual personal capacity. With a few of his friends came as an angel in the first round. ShopClues journey I built. I used to be the main product guy. Droom, all products have been built with me involved, not at a high level, but literally at a nut and bolt level. I must say we built lots of products and filed and secured a lot of patents in Droom. Droom is a very hardcore product tech company. Our DNA is not we are not automobile company. We are a technology company in automobile. From 2014 when I started Droom until 2019, 100% products I would be involved. But from 2019 until next 3-4 years, a lot of products we had to reap the benefit. So they had to go to scale. That could be done by my awesome product and engineering team. And
so germ of an idea is something that you continue to focus on, and the first product build is and the early evolution is something that comes from your mind.
But in November 2024, when the thoughts of this, we always knew that at some point we should not be stuck only in buying and selling. November 2024, the super app, today I can say in 2 seconds, super app for automobile. And one can little bit guess what I'm talking. But that time it was not. First vision, like when the first thoughts came, it was not like that. So I thought that let's pick one category within our larger vision and work on it. But I also wanted to work as if my first 6 months of ShopClues or first 6 months of Droom.
How is that possible?
No, it is possible. I had to just reset everything in a different manner. So we created a SWAT team. We created that day one type of setup, and we worked on Droom rentals. The first thing we did after beyond buying and selling, we added was short-term rental.
Correct.
Urban mobility in India is a very big opportunity, but it's also broken. In spite of a lot of large companies, Ola, Uber, Rapido on-demand side to short-term rental, you go to Agra for intercity, or I go to Bangalore or Mumbai for a meeting. I have a car picking me up from my airport and stays with me for 8 hours, 80 kilometers.
Correct.
So we saw that as an opportunity. So first time what happened, Droom was celebrating our 10th year anniversary. And and Badshah, who's also our investor and brand ambassador, was going to attend that anniversary. So we had to give a car to him. Okay. Then a friend of mine was getting married, and he told me that I don't want to come on Ghori. I want to come in a vintage car. Right? So these things triggered my mind when we were arranging the vintage car was 1,25,000 rupees. Right? The car for Badshah was obviously a luxury car. Rappers move in a good cars.
Yeah.
Fancy cars. Yes. Right? So when I saw that, I said, this is a very big opportunity. And when I peeled down the onion, I realized that short-term rental is actually 2.5 times larger than on-demand. We discuss about Ola, Uber, Rapido every day. That's a very large market. And these three companies have done phenomenally well. But do you know 2.5 times of that is actually short-term rental, which is a hourly or kilometer daily rental, or airport transfer or intercity.
So when you say 2.5 times, is it based on the value or volume?
Based on value. So just to give you sense, as per publicly available data, rental, on-demand rental, which is Ola, Uber, Rapido type of companies, is around $6.8 billion, which also includes taxi, Meru cab, Kali Pili taxi also. It's 6.8 billion. There's another 16 to 17 billion dollars, which is short-term rental, which is a short-term rental B2C, short-term rental corporate car rental, employee transportation solution, etc.
Continues to be extremely unorganized.
So, so think about it, 16, 17 billion dollar. No single player does more than 100 million. Whereas in 6.8 billion on demand, each player does more than 1 billion. Right? So this is our level of fragmentation and unorganized market, no use of technology. We said 7th January 2025 will be the 10th year anniversary of the first product we sold from Droom platform.
Okay.
On 7th January 2015, we sold a Bajaj Pulsar 2012 to our customer. That was our first transaction. So we said, why don't we launch rental in 7th January 2025? So from 15th November until 7th January, you would not believe there was a 25 people team who worked exactly how the first 6 months were of ShopClues, first 6 months of Droom. We would have a food coming from breakfast to dinner. People sometimes are sleeping in the office. We had a massage guy coming if someone is feeling very stiff, right? But just that 2.5 months, and people who had joined Droom as a more mature company were so much fascinated because they did not see that 0 to 1 environment.
Correct.
Because we were now in a 10 to 100 environment. Correct. Which is very different than 0 to 1. Correct. So we recreated at 0 to 1, and we delivered rental on 7th January 8 p.m. Right. With 50 suppliers, because we are marketplace platform, and 1,500 cars in about 6-7 cities.
Right.
So that was a beginning of the super app. So and I realized that when I'm working on extremely complex product and technology problems, solving it and creating a scalable solution or product actually gives me a lot of happiness.
The more I talk to founders who have IPO'd their companies in India, it feels like companies are going for an IPO to get legitimacy in public. It seems to be like a validation that of success today in India, versus in the US it's more about creating institutions. Would you agree with that?
If you look at the history of IPOs, getting a legitimacy from IPO actually holds true in any country. Okay. Even in US. Okay. If you ask someone very philosophically that tell me more than 2 reasons why you are going IPO, one of these reasons will definitely come that it gives me legitimacy. I deal with Fortune 500 companies. Any company can go belly up, but rarely an IPO'd company go belly up. So it gives me that stability, that groundedness, and that, right? And then you said institutional. That legitimacy leads to an institution which is here to stay. Okay. So that is definitely one of the things for why you go IPO. Mm-hmm. But there are so many other reasons, right? You have raised money from venture capitalist and private equity fund. They have a fund live which is 5+2 or 7+2. So they have to give back money to their LPs. You have convinced hundreds of your team members to settle on a market salary or lower than market salary, but take some ESOP. You also want to create wealth together, right? So how do they now convert their paper money into actual money? You also worked very hard. How do you create a generational wealth for yourself if you can, right? You also are a hyper growth company, and you need now larger pool of capital. You have validated, proved everything from MVP to product market fit to scaling to every milestone. But now you want a complete category domination and you want more permanency around it. If the law of duopoly plays out with Coca-Cola and Pepsi, right, with Walmart and Target, right, with Jio and Airtel, so you want for that category, you want to permanently seal your future as one of the two of that category.
So when a founder starts a company, do you think that IPO should be one of the goals for that founder?
See, uh,
Or is it just an
okay,
evolution?
let's just talk one thing first. If let's just step back and think about what is company. Company is an asset.
Correct.
If you are painting something, you are mixing music, you are carving something, it is out of passion. You could also see commercial success, or you may not. But the act of doing a wood carving or stone carving or mixing music or drawing a painting is soul soothing, and I could do that whole life, so that's fine. But when you're creating a company, that is an asset, and by definition asset means it has ability to generate cash flow, and the value of the asset is what future cash flow it generates. So the moment you create a company, you should always know IPO, selling the company to someone else, right, or selling your stake to someone else, or definitely exit has to be thought through. Company is a separate legal entity. It is not you. Your vision, your obsession, your execution is reflected in that. And from idea, abstract thinking, to a world-class institution is made by a very driven and determined founder, an awesome team around him or them. But it's an asset, right? So you have to think about exit, and IPO is absolutely one of the very legitimate exit.
So I remember you talking and telling me once the Murphy's, for an entrepreneur, the living that founder journey is Murphy's law on steroids.
Oh, you remember that? Yeah.
Right. Uh, because the founder's life is never a straight line, it's full of ups and downs. Was this the chaos that you were navigating as to evolving Droom from a one product thing into a multiple product thing? Is that the biggest chaos that you were navigating or a problem that you were trying to solve?
Sunny, I wish it was the only problem, right? Uh, you know we were IPO bound.
Yes.
We filed IPO in November 2021. In 2021, before us, starting from Is My Trip to Nika to Policy Bazaar, Zomato, and Car Trade and Paytm. These IPO I remember very distinctly. More IPO would have come, but these are the new age IPOs which came. And we and 8 more companies, very famous companies, were also coming with the IPO. So it was like, the India I came back to start ShopClues. I never thought we'll ever value new age companies which can grow very fast, but profitability is delayed. Could ever be listed or accepted on the last street. But it is changed now. But that time, if you're not profitable, how can I value you?
Correct.
Right? But the growth stocks, if you look at today, last 30 years, if you look at top 100 richest people, which is a proxy of from which sector the money is getting made, disproportionately higher number of people are technologists. Right? 2080 to 2020, top 100 richest people would come from real estate, financial services, or fast moving retail brands like Uniqlo or Zara.
Correct.
Right? Before that, top 100 richest people would come from legacy luxury brands, from Louis Vuitton, Prada, Gucci, etc. And real estate was always evergreen, and a lot of people from financial services.
Right.
Right? So it has changed over time. We were IPO bound. IPO did not happen because that time perfect storm happened. There were 4 triggers. One was people thought COVID is over, but Delta variant came. Second, third, Western economies increase interest rate to curb the possible inflation.
Right.
Fourth, some of the IPOs which happened before we were filing did not do very well, and people were already cynical on the last street. that, look, I already told you this company does not make money, right? So those stocks got creamed, and when they got creamed, they were judged more harshly.
Does that come from your early years as a Wall Street analyst? Understanding of when to IPO or to even IPO or not?
Well, yeah, see, absolutely. See, thing is, look, I think if you're in Silicon Valley, raising money, growing
15
company.
years in Silicon Valley?
Yeah, I spent majority of my real life in Silicon Valley, 15 years plus. Uh, so, so if you are not in Wall Street, if you're in Silicon Valley, you will still learn all these things because either your friend or neighbor or someone you know is going through that process. And then followed by a long funding winter. Now I have absolutely, I will not mince my word. Droom is one of the rare unicorn in India which became unicorn without the support of the largest, very obvious investors. If you think there's a small list of same 8 to 12 investors who are on the 90% of unicorns cap table.
Yes.
But I don't have any of those.
SoftBank, Sequoia, Tiger
SoftBank,
Global.
Sequoia, Tiger Global, GIC, Process, Excel, Elevation, etc. Very marquee great investors. Because of my own legacy issues, etc., timing, etc. wise, I raised decent amount of money, but none of those were on my cap table. I'm IPO bound. IPO does not happen, followed by the harshest winter on funding side internet sector has seen after the dot-com bust. So this super app is my natural evolution of learning, understanding, and disrupting automobile category in India. Correct. Right? But that was not the only challenge. I had to make this migration and evolution at a time when funding is not easily available. Investors like growth, but they now like profitability even more. By the way, now funding winter is over, and same metrics which were judged that, look, I knew this profitability is everything. Right? Profitability is everything. It was always. But hyper growth is also, never underestimate the hyper growth, because once hyper growth disappear, it does not come back. And it is a hyper growth which has created all the companies from OpenAI to Anthropic to Perplexity, from Amazon. Amazon did not make money for the first 90 quarters. First 90 quarters would be almost 2 decades, I think, like whatever, like 90 quarters it did not make money as being public company. But they grew 8 times faster than US GDP growth and 2 times faster than the overall e-commerce growth of America. Hence, our $2.5–3 trillion company today.
You talked about IPO, and do you think that American companies age differently than Indian startups? Is there a significant difference how American startups mature and how Indian startups mature?
Sunny, while I grew up in India, my education, my training, my all formative years, which made me who I am today, came from Silicon Valley and came from, I feel very, very lucky and blessed to be spending time on Wall Street and covering the hottest companies of our era: Google, Amazon, Netflix, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Alibaba, all these companies. And I'm a ex-Microsoft in their headquarters and ex-Schwab.com. After spending 14 years in this country on ground, I also realized we were the first company who truly were product-led company. Even my group of that time, they built great companies, great exits, lot of shareholder wealth, but they were operations and process wonders, and technology was used only for digital transformation and automation on the way. And that is my crux. Sorry, I have a habit of taking this right.
I have known you long enough.
That's right. So just to answer your question, so single biggest difference
is product-led growth versus operational process
yes
level expertise or
so
execution.
Because in India it was always scarcity of capital, we did not see how did the day one of Apple or Xerox or HP or Google or Uber or OpenAI look like. We did not see that. Domestic pool of capital now is a lot in India, But until 3 years back, it was not there. And founder feeling shit scared that how can I pull it off? So he would start somewhere and just validate small wins. That does, is there a need for me to sell books online? Can I deliver it? Can customer receive it? Can I get paid? If customer is not happy, can he return it? So just validate that for 6 months. Then validate something else. And for the problem, throw people at the problem because labor is cheap. It is changing now, but still the companies you consider as a technology company in this country who have created huge shareholder wealth, when you see them, the product and technology has never been the center of what they do and their existence. But that is not the case in Silicon Valley. Even if you touch a 1-year-old Silicon Valley company, you will find that they only exist because of technology. Like, today, even in India also, I can name lot of businesses which would not exist because of technology. Correct. Biggest example would be Zomato. If there's no technology, that business, there's no equivalent of that without technology, right? There's equivalent of lot of things. Urban company, lot of respect for that company, but that business does exist without technology too, right? But they made it so scalable with technology, right? But my point is now India has lot of businesses which only exist because of technology. For example, Grow or Zerodha, right? Or all this quick commerce. Without technology, they would not exist. Correct. But earlier there, that was not the case. And in Silicon Valley, you will rarely find a company unless it is D2C brand, correct, unless it is a physical product. Correct. You will not find any company which is just, and they call it, I think Chamath said, name those companies which exist, which are old wine into new bottle. Correct. He called them lipstick on a pig.
So it is largely because it's a technology enabled growth rather than technology at the heart of it or at the core
Absolutely.
of it.
You are hitting the nail on the head. That is a single, in my view, that is a single biggest difference.
I'll quickly try to paint a picture of the audience who I would like to watch this episode. They would be aspiring entrepreneurs or founders in early to mid stage companies, professionals, or working in any other company, mid to senior level professionals, or anybody who's running a business, an MSME, even those mom and pop shops owners who are entrepreneurs in their own right. And by the end of this conversation, I would like to have uh, them at least leave with 3 to 4 tangible outcomes which will help them fail less as they grow in their entrepreneurial venture. How does your typical day look like? So especially what does the morning look like?
For me, basically, morning, it's until COVID, from the time I came to this country, until COVID, it was much more well-defined, predictable uh, approach. Nowadays, it is different, but let me say nowadays what it is. I'll typically get up. If you want more intimate detail, I can say for last 7-8 years, first I take 1 glass of amla juice and 7 almonds which are soaked overnight. My mother always made me believe that it sharpened the memory, which most mothers in this country make you believe.
I don't know if it sharpens everybody else's memory, but I think in your case it worked.
Well, even it is even it is psychological. I want to believe in that.
Yeah.
Because when I take those 7 almonds, I feel that my brain just lifted up. Right after that, so I'll spend a few minutes with the fish, right, and I'll give them food. I'll notice them, etc. Right, and that's a very like a good part during COVID when everyone used to work from home. On one side I could see my terrace, on one side I could see my fish tanks. I like to believe in to-do list. I will open a to-do list I will add what I want to do today. I will try to prioritize the biggest time sensitive, highest impact item on the top. Right? I read that book, Eat That Frog. It's a must read in my view for any founder. By nature, human being has a procrastination. Right. So you have to push that back. So my to-do list is also struggling with your own self. One is creating a to-do list, then how to prioritize it. A, B, C, D. Right? So I will do that. Then I will make a few important calls. Right? If I have to work on an investor deck or any other important deck, I will do that by myself. I will also think about some product features, product roadmap. These things I do before I go to work. I've done this for long enough to realize that momentum is very important thing. So if you're in momentum, if you're in your flow,
Then don't stop.
don't stop.
How is your mental and physical health right now?
So that's a great question, right? And Sunny, a few years back, people will not even they will not even ask about mental health. They will only talk about, let's say, how are you? Oh, you looking healthy and all. And mental health was not even discussed. If you are building a company, startup, you are entrepreneur, first generation, you are ambitious, you are passionate, you are type A, right? You have to go extra miles to check boxes on your physical and mental health. And this message is for any entrepreneur. Does not matter whether you were athlete or not, you played at amateur or professional, or you know any sports or not. The moment you marry with an idea and become an entrepreneur, and independent of your age and gender, you must take care of your physical health. It sounds very cliche, but jaan hai to jahan hai. So, but that can go for a toss, because in entrepreneurship, your nature becomes anything which can wait should wait. Mental health, entrepreneurship is a very lonely job. You may be gifted with spouse, siblings, kids, parents, friends, and they all love you, care about you, but it is still very lonely. If you come back, they don't understand. Nobody will ever. This is something is proven by time, by ages. It's not that you are unlucky and they don't understand. That is something they will never understand. You as entrepreneur see everything in a very detailed manner. That level of detailing nobody will understand. So when you come back home, if you open up all you are carrying for the day, you'll make everyone around you crazy. Mental health is very important. It will definitely go for toss. No one should brag that I am mentally very healthy and I'm fine. Others feel sorry for others. No. It's an occupational hazard. It's an occupational hazard. If you are an entrepreneur, you are passionate, ambitious, creating scalable companies, pushing your limits, anxiety, depression, sleep deprivation, all will happen to you. How do you deal with, or how much you were advanced ready, how much you learn while it is happening, and how do you come out of it is important. One thing I absolutely can say, that if you have more than one founder, then your mental health brings more check. When the going get tough, I absolutely have felt a need of at least one co-founder.
Something that happened to me while I was building consent, and I ignored that quite a bit, was the need of a therapist. It's been about 5-6 months I've started taking therapy. It has helped me a lot. I have not only just managed to get my health back, but my mental health also. I have physical health plus my mental health back. Do you also have a therapist?
Yes. Since 2015, I have done multiple things. I have therapist, and it has helped me tremendously.
बहुत लोग बोलते हैं कि अरे थेरेपी के लिए जाते हो, दिमाग में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है क्या?
So, by the way, I mean,
Is that a big myth?
no, see, it used to be, but nowadays I feel the current generation completely understand the man or the mental health is a very is a real issue. If you're in denial mode, if you know the problem, that's half the solution. If you're in denial mode, that does not help. So yes, no, it's not made. Earlier it was labeled asylum, pagal khana, psychiatrist. But those are different things, right? If you peel down the onion, it's a fully documented science. There's a medical science, there's a behavioral science. Therapist will help because that is their job, and it's a very demanding job, by the way, if you think about it, right? So I have done that for good 1 decade, right?
You still have one?
Yes, I have one, and I have multiple also at times. Yes, right.
Different therapists
Yes.
for different things.
For different purpose, maybe, right? So that is one thing. Second is, Sunny, since 2018, I started going to Kerala for not in a resort, in a Ayurveda healing center. So if you are in a denial mode, then you have disconnected the code which is communicating problems, a possible problem. But if you accept it, then a lot of things will come together.
Does denial also has a much larger ramification, as in on the company, its employees and everything?
Absolutely. See, thing is, look, let's take a large famous company, Mark Zuckerberg running Meta, that has a Facebook, that has a Instagram, that's a WhatsApp, and it has a lot of other products. It's almost a 1.7 trillion, 1.8 trillion dollar company right now, right? I don't know, but Facebook will have 30, 40, 50,000, maybe even more employees, right? But if Mark Zuckerberg is distracted, mentally not doing well, do you think Facebook will have same outcome, Meta will have same outcome? Will the people, right? So while you cannot apply the law of average that I'm just one of the 100 people company I build, so what if I'm going through this thing and that? No, you are the locomotive. You are the locomotive of the train, right? And you need to be efficient, you need to be proficient, and you to be mentally and physically healthy. The spillover will be reflected in every aspect, in your personal life, in your professional life, in your relationship with your team members, in a product roadmap, in your external stakeholders, from your investors to auditor to your chartered accountant, to you name it.
Does your arrest still haunt you?
So, Sunny, absolutely. I think you tell me, if you came close to dying or close to something which instantaneously in one moment your life can change, I would be foolish to go back to USA every 6 months if I had actually done something wrong.
Of course.
I did not, by the way, I would not even say these things in the past. I just went there for my vacation, and 13 FBI car come. They put an allegation of insider trading on me. They come at 4:30 p.m. so that it's a white collar crime allegation. It is indictment, not conviction, right? It's only indictment. It's like allegation. You put an allegation that has someone done that. That was allegation. But in US law works very differently than India, right? So based on indictment, a judge can give a public prosecutor right to arrest someone temporarily, but they will not sentence that person until they understand all the nitty-gritties of the case. But they came at 4:30 because they knew for sure I will get a bail, so that they can keep me in overnight cell. How many people you know who got arrested in a planned manner for the allegation which eventually hold no merit and got dismissed and dropped?
Was the arrest different for you because you were an Indian?
See, I can't tell that way, but let me say this way. Typically, now I know a lot about it, right? If you are facing an indictment for a white collar crime, unless you are fugitive, the way our country has multiple very famous white collar crime people who are fugitive, it is not yet proven, by the way, whether they have done wrong or not, but they did not believe in the system, so they ran away. I remember when they arrested me, someone is calling that office main boss that he's in our possession, and they press the button. So it was all
Orchestrated.
It was all right, and they did not have to do that way, right? So this was the modus of operandi of that department that time, and later on, America's Second Circuit Court, which is as almost Supreme Court, did prove that their modus operandi was not acceptable. They told that department shortly after my case that you are outreaching. That word alone changed everything in future. Typically, insider trading, although it can be applied on anyone, by the way, but typically it is designed for two type of people. One who are actual investor and in possession of something which is material non-public information, and they are using it and they benefit from it. So all three things must happen. Material non-public information, you decided to use it and you benefited monetarily from it. So it was designed for investor or a company's executive, CXOs, board member, who are also in possession of material public information, and then they give a tip to one of their relative or someone that why don't you buy this stock, because we are going to announce this thing, this will move the stock up. But their justice was served very late, and I have suffered an extreme amount of collateral damage.
You didn't have any control on whatever was happening with you, right? You didn't have a control on what people was talking about. You didn't have control over how the legal system. You said that seven long years, and it took a lot of time, and there was a lot of collateral damage.
Those 7 years were full of turbulence in my life, ups and downs, right? More downs than ups.
Right.
Right? Lot of damages, mental, emotional, monetarily, reputational, right? But luckily, I had a purpose. I was earlier building ShopClues, and I did not want to stop until it reached to $1 billion level, which I saw it coming much before my legal case. Second, then Droom became my purpose, right? That actually really kept me sane. Yes, over years you'd come to know more so that things you don't control, you don't control. I always say the moment human being is born, he is exposed to love, death, and legality. Right. And that's called life. Right. Anything can happen to anyone.
But your life has been a lot more than falling and rising. To me, it seems it is more like waiting for certainty, waiting to find applause, waiting while the world moves on, waiting to find conclusion in things which remain unresolved for a very long time. What does waiting do to a man's identity when he can't act, when he can't explain, and when he can't defend himself?
See, Sunny, there's an old Hindi proverb, जिसकी लाठी उसकी भैंस, right? And then, if you look at the history from ancient time to medieval to modernism, ruling parties will rewrite the history. But I'm sitting in front of you with a complete clean record where the government officially dismissed and dropped all charges against me. So when it was all happening, even indictment and conviction would be only 1 year apart from indictment to conviction. But they kept on delaying it, so it became 7 years. But then it was not conviction, it was exonerment. It was dropping and dismissal of all charges.
But at that time, why did you plead guilty?
Sunny, the Indian legal system and US legal system works very differently. In US, the district attorney, public prosecutors can start a case. Secondly, they can actually use the legal system to get temporarily an arrest warrant or indictment against someone. It is very similar to FIR.
It's not no proof of guilt.
I met 11 law firms. Pragmatism says that this department is a terror on Wall Street. If you have $20 million and 3 years to fight against the system, which is US government, Department of Justice and SEC, you fight. If you win, you will earn your pride back. But if you lose, you will be mentally, emotionally, and monetarily bankrupt. And I did not have 20 million. I did not have ability to stay there for 3 years. Even if I had won it, I would have lost it somewhere else in a bigger way. So when I met all the law firms, I said, I don't know, I don't understand this. You guide me what to do. So the law firms said that you plead guilty because the winds is not in your favor.